What's up? It's Andy. This is episode 1 of the Twin Flame game series, and it's gonna be a little different than the other Twin Flame teachers. It's gonna be kind of my perspective, which I sort of had to like dumb it down for myself and like make it my own language, but it worked for me. I didn't pay for any coaches. I didn't, not $1. And however, I did watch a lot of content. But and I met my twin in July of 2024, and then he dipped in like October, and then I would say I started to come into union around like the end of March and May, but really like locked into inner union would be like a month ago. And now I'm gonna get a few things out of the way. I know what you're thinking. Like, okay, so for me, when I would like watch people that weren't with their twin, I kind of be like, but you should be though. Like, I don't trust you all the way, But however, you're gonna be hearing as you start watching all these, like, you're gonna have a mission and a purpose, and you're like, I don't have no mission. Like, for me, I'm like, this is my purpose, I'm a pro bodybuilder, I coach tons of people, I travel, all stuff, and it's like, I'll never want anything else. But, I mean, that's not true, because I just retired after 17 years, like, last week. Because, so, when you get to this here, in inner union, you'll have this really clear channel with your spirit guides. Like, I have a very good one now. And by that point, when you're this far, they tell you what you're gonna do and why you came and all of those things, right? Why I had a rapid ascension and what I'm here to do. And I fought it to the bloody end because my ego was so savage. But I just thought, like, who would want to hear like my steroided voice? I cuss. I'm not like these people. I don't talk spiritual. None of that shit. And they're like, that's why, because somebody needs to hear it in your way. You know what I'm saying? Everybody does it in their own ways, which I'm gonna get onto that one because I got a lot to say about that. But and you're still like, but I don't want to do it because they don't know, what if they see it, and blah blah blah. You're just like, oh my god, but if you don't, you kind of start to come to a halt, and they're like, you got to do your shit. So then the pull starts to become stronger than the twin, and that sounds like bullshit because you're in the wrong energy right now. Not in the wrong energy, but you're just in the beginning of the energy, which you don't know what energy is yet, but you will on this channel, because I really, really had to dumb it down to understand energy. And once you do, it's everything. It's everything. It's going to help you so much. Before we go on, what we're not going to do on this channel is make a 15-minute video where 5 minutes of it is talking about your other videos that you're going to link below. I'm gonna link below. Like, no, bro, we're trying to watch this video, yo. Like, what are you doing? And the other thing is talking shit on other ways that the other Twin Flame teachers teach, and why yours is the only one that works. We won't be doing that. We'll be doing one video on that, but that's gonna be the only one. And because I have a lot to say about that shit. And the other thing is, we're not gonna be reiterating. Like, people, it's like they hear this information, it's like they feel like they need to let it be known, but it's like, you don't, because we know. So, like, the worst one, and I hate it, you'll hate it, just wait, is, and when I'm talking about the divine feminine and masculine, I'm not talking about gender specific. Oh, we know, we knew the first 44 videos that we watched the first day. We won't be doing that. And then also, like, they'll just be like, you gotta move through the energy, and you're like, oh, move through the energy. Let me get right on that. What? No. And so, or they're just like, stand in your sovereignty. And you're like, my whaty? Like, what the fuck are you guys talking about? And like, okay, look, if you have been, and you're like, you can't tell anybody because you're like, everybody's gonna think I'm crazy. They already think I'm crazy because I have been fucking crazy, you know? Like, they're like, don't worry, you're not crazy. You're going through anyway. And you're like, I beg to differ. I'm pretty fucking crazy. Like, my whole life, I've been a crazy motherfucker. So, I mean, you guys, look, I have nothing to hide, okay? I don't. You know, I've sold drugs. I went to prison. You know, I've abused steroids. I've been violent. My ex last year tried to kill me, and that was like the start of my ego death, which I'll talk about that later. But and like I've been through a lot of abuse. I've been through some crazy shit. You guys, I was crazy. I was crazy. So when it's happening, you're like, who? I have actually lost my shit this time. Like, I have done a lot of drugs. I've had a lot of abuse, you know, like, and you're just like, wow. Like, okay, so anyway, lesson number 1. So, okay, remember when you guys first met your twin? And, like, from day one, everything was sort of like a dream. It was, like, cloudy. When you think about it even now, you know it's, like, cloudy, right? Because it's, like, this, like, dream. So like that second you met your twin, it became like that dream. You got into a spell. So it's best if you just figure that you both went into a spell. And so, and life as you know it will never ever be the same since that day, right? And so once you figure that out, you can kind of forgive yourself on some crazy shit you're gonna do, you know, or you're kind of currently doing. And everything he wants to say, he can't, because he's also under that spell. And it's up to you to be able to release the things that he wants to say. So, well, it's up to both of you, but it starts out being up to you. But, so if you think about it like that, and slowly the divine will release things as you need, okay? So now you're both under a spell. It's not your fault, or his. You know, you can forgive him for the stupid shit he just did too, because he has no control over it. And you'll see that as it goes along, that and it's almost better to once you get a little farther, this is maybe hard to say right now, but it's almost good to think of them as not real. So once I really understood the fucking mission and the deal, like, I took it like it was like a competition, bodybuilding prep. Like, I went balls deep, you know. And once I understood, I realized that they have really no control, because if you watch the patterns, and I noticed a lot of patterns, and that's kind of how I figured out my own way. But I noticed so many patterns in all the teachers, and the way, like, if you are ascending and everything's going, and the way that the twin comes in is almost textbook. You're like, oh, now he's gonna come with sexual energy. Boom, happens. Now he's gonna do this. Boom. I mean, it's almost like they're not real. And so when you kind of think about it like that, you can kind of just think about it as like the male version of you in your reality. So it's all your bad things in front of you in your reality in physical form. But that's hard to also understand right now too. So just don't worry about that till later. But so that's the first thing. The second thing is you're going to start watching Twin Flame Tarot. And here's the thing. So a lot of teachers are going to say, stop watching Twin Flame Tarot. Stop watching Twin Flame Tarot. However, when you watch 1 million videos and you see the patterns, now I will say, okay, and this is too early to talk about the waves, the waves of twins, but in the 4th wave, your spirit guides are placing these things in front of you, and you will see that later. You'll understand that later. But think about it. Before you got on this path, did any twin flame tarot show up in your stuff? No, it doesn't. Then all of a sudden you're flooded with it, right? But you don't know that. You don't realize that that's because that's your higher self putting you there, but putting that in front of you. But you're just like flooded with it, and you can't stop watching it. You cannot stop watching it, no matter what. And so you'll start fear-mongering the fuck out of yourself because everyone's telling you not to watch it. And you're like, oh my God, I just watched 16 more. And you're like, it didn't even make sense. It didn't even resonate with me. And I still watched it. She sucked and I watched it. And you can't control it. But here's what I have figured and found out is first of all, it's not a bad idea, because when I was watching it, it started to make me, because I didn't know anything about spirituality. So it started to, I would listen to it, and then I would kind of start to see things play out in my reality, right? So it starts to give you the awareness that things are not the same anymore. And you start to find out through the tarot. And once you do, and you kind of start to be like, I'm on this journey, all of a sudden, you don't want to watch them anymore, because you have what they call shifts. I call them level up, because it's more, I do everything with like fitness style, but you've leveled up, and all of a sudden they disappear because you have leveled out of that energy, which we're going to explain more deeper in that. But you've leveled out of that energy, and they just go away. So just watch them, because they're put there for a reason, and they go away. And then you on to something else, and it's usually the teachers that you get obsessed with. And, because you've accepted at this point that this is actually real life. I mean, still every day I say, is this actually my life now? Like, every day, because I sometimes have trouble feeling like I deserve this new life, It's that different. I'm like a fucking baby deer seeing the world for the first time. I'm not even joking. So, it's insane. Like, I mean, places I walked my dogs for like 5 years, all of a sudden I'm like, there's trees, it's like, I've never been present in my entire life, I've masked with everything you can possibly do. It's bizarre. And, you're like, you're just in this secret thing happening to you, and it's consuming your life, but nobody knows about it, and nobody around you has changed, and it's fucking crazy. And you have been crazy your whole life. So you're just like, well, somebody fucking lock me up, dude, because I've lost my shit. So watch them. Forgive yourself and watch them, and know that they're there for a reason. And right now you don't understand your connection with your spirit guides, but pretty soon it's going to be a very clear channel, and all of us get different powers. I call them powers, not gifts, okay? Because gifts sounds a little like gifts, but like powers are like, I just got some powers, like, okay. And as they come in, I mean, there's no way you could possibly handle the type of powers you get when you're here. And every time I think, there's no way I could have more powers, right? But you do. You keep getting more. And it's like, at first you're like, okay, I'm losing my mind. Like, but then you're like, after, you're like, thank you for letting me lose my mind. Like, I mean, like, and you don't understand stuff. A lot of stuff, you just fake your way through it until you get it. Like, people used to be like, you have to be in the energy of like gratitude. And so I would just be like, I'm grateful. And I think that I was in the energy, like, I'm grateful. But no, when you're actually in the grateful energy, it's like this chills all over your body, and it's like this orgasm for hours, so it's like, that is, I thought I was in a gratitude for a year, but I wasn't. So but you'll learn all that. I also have really bad ADD, and so I'm gonna go off on tangents too, but I'm gonna try not to do that shit. But anyways, so that's your first thing. Forgive yourself for fucking watching it, because you know what? They're going to come in and you're going to shift out of it. And people say, don't stay in the energy, but move through it. Yes, let it pass. So you got to the traumas aren't going to come out yet. Right now, you're just in a what is happening. So just let it pass, and don't fearmonger the fuck out of yourself. That's it for the first one.